What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with a brand new review for Power Book 4 Force, you guys. This is season 2, episode 5, you guys, and episode is titled Crown Vic, you guys. So, before we go ahead and get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on this channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss Power Book 4 Force Shower. All right, you guys, sorry about that. So, let's start. So we're going to start this episode up and we're going to go completely out of order, you guys. So I'll start up with Maria and Miguel because they actually have their own separate scenes in this episode, right? So we see Maria, right? So Maria was at the hospital and she was walking down the halls, right? And she was all smiles. And so one of her friends noticed, like, girl, you smiling from ear to ear, right? And she was like, is it that doctor that's making you smile? And she was like, wait a minute, but he's in surgery. So it's definitely not him that's making you smile, right? So what happened after that, she realized, like I said, she realized it wasn't the doctor, right? So then she looked in, no, Maria's looking at her phone, right? And it's Tommy talking about he can't stop thinking about her, right? I was like, oh, Maria, you already falling for old Tommy, okay. So at one point we saw as they brought this patient in who has, GSW, right? And this girl also got caught in some crossfire, and we'll talk about that a little later in the episode, right? So they're rushing the girl to surgery to, get the bullet, and, she's talking about in case she passes away, contact her father. She told her her father's name is. So the next thing we see with Maria, she's with the doctor boyfriend, right? And Maria is, feeling away because the young girl died. Their fathers have the same name and all that stuff. So the doctor's telling her, this is part of what we do. So basically telling her to just, get out of it because you have other patients that you have to take care of, right? So Maria asked the doctor, does he love her? And she said she didn't answer her. She said, you don't even have to answer for me because I can answer. She said, because I don't even love you. I was like, oh, so, one date with Tommy and you ready to cut your DICK off, right? Okay, cool. I got your girlfriend, right? So as she was getting ready to leave the hospital, the doctor was following behind her, trying to talk to her, and she was like, unhand me and stuff. And Miguel saw it. I was like, oh my God. So Miguel asked her, did he need to handle that? She said, no, get in the car. So the next thing we see with Miguel is Miguel has found this doctor, and the doctor offered up his Rolex, and Miguel was like, no, put your hand on the table, palm down. I was like, oh, sir, please don't do that. I was like, Miguel, please don't do what I think you're finna do to this man's hands. It was even worse than what I expected. I was like, oh my God. He took something that the man had an award that the man had, and he smashed his hands, both of them. I was like, wow, that was fucked up. Lord, please, for the love of God, let me never, and I mean never, ever, 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 ever meet someone or date someone that is in that lifestyle, because it would be a whole ass hell to the N to the O for me. Oh, I sling this. Yep, nope, we're good. You're very good looking, but I value my life. I value my body parts. I value my limbs. I value everything about me, and I don't want to get sucked into your lifestyle, and it is dangerous, and I don't like that much danger in my life. Definitely not that kind where you got to duck and dodge bullets. You got to worry about people just mutilating your body. Yeah, it would be an absolute hell to the no for me. But yeah, you guys, so let's pause here and let's move forward, you guys. All right, you guys, so next up, let's talk about the Flynns, you guys. Now, this episode with the Flynns, oh my God. I'm still picking my jaw up off the floor because it was just that good. So, the episode, we open up the episode, and we're with Claudia and Victor, right? So you guys know Claudia and Victor want to put out this hit on Walter, right? So Claudia called Victor and she told him, they're talking to each other, and Victor's like, he's falling for a hook, line, and sinker, basically, right? So she told him that he needed to come over to the penthouse because Doyle was there, right? And they need to go over everything. Victor wasn't able to make it right away because he actually had got picked up by the feds, right? And you guys remember, in the last episode, the feds were telling Victor that, they had an eyewitness saying that he was the one that took out that DJ, right? So in this episode, they want Victor to basically work with them, and give up who he was with. And Victor was like, I want my lawyer with me. So they were like, okay. The one guy was not okay with it, but Stacy called him back and she was like, no, let him go. And he was like, let him go. So they eventually let Victor go, right? So Victor met up with Claudia, and they were talking about this situation, right, with wanting to set up their father. So they found a hitman that was going to take out Walter, right? So they come up with the plan. So Victor's going to be having dinner with Walter, right? So Claudia asked about Polly, and he was like, yeah, Polly's not going to be there because, Dad has gotten rid of him, right? So the plan is for Victor to be out of the house by 9 o'clock, right? Because that's the time that the hit is supposed to take place. So we got that, right? So after Victor left, Doyle was ready to, get it in with Claudia. Claudia was like, nah, let's not do that, right? But then she eventually gave in to Doyle, right? And when she gave in to Doyle, it was like a minute and they were done. I was like, wow, that is terrible. You guys also might hear my phone ringing from my desk because I brought my computer home so I could do my review and still be working at the same time. So they did what they did, right? And so after that, Claudia's talking about how once her father is, taken out, that she'll be in charge. And, Doyle is like, Dublin has no, they're not going to work with you, Claudia, because Victor is second in command. He's the male heir. You're not. So they're not going to work with you. The only way that Dublin would be interested in working with you is if Victor was out of the way, so to speak, right? And you can see the wheels in Claudia's head starting to turn. I was like, girl, are you really thinking about taking out your brother? And I was looking at her, I'm like, I think she is, right? So at one point in the episode, Doyle came to Claudia and told Claudia, hey, so the timeline has to change because they had something to do at 9 o'clock, so they're moving it up 30 minutes earlier. So they're going to move it to 8:30. He told her, give Vic a call and let Vic know that the plan has changed, right? I was like, now, why didn't you call Vic yourself? Because you just told her a few minutes ago that Dublin was not going to work with her as long as Victor's in the picture. So that you just gave her the silver bullet, so to speak, right? Like you put it right in her lap. And I'm like, Claudia's not going to tell Victor, right? So we see Victor, right? He gets over to the house and he sees that Polly is there. And he's like, Uncle Polly, don't you want to go home and, get some of the, some of the best, I think he said bourbon, right? And, Walter was like, nope, he's good. He came over here, he apologized. So, we're all going to be a big family. I was like, ooh, y'all might be a big deceased family pretty soon. So, we see them starting to have dinner, right? And so Victor, he called, actually before that, he called Claudia, right? And he was telling Claudia like, hey, Polly is here. And so this was her time to tell him, hey, the plans have changed to 8:30. Claudia didn't do it, right? She told him not a damn thing. So while they were having dinner, that's when they started hearing the gunshots, right? So Victor, Polly, and Walter, they all got their guns, right? Getting ready to go to war. Oh my God, you guys. I felt so bad because Polly took some of those people out, right? But then He got popped in the back one time. I was like, oh. Then he got popped in the back again. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. And then he turned around and he got popped in the front. I was like, oh, poor Polly. You got fired in last week's episode, and then you come back to this week's episode just to be unlived. I was like, oh, poor Polly. Rest in peace to Polly. I mean, that dude fell in the pool, and that water was just turning red. I was like, oh, poor Polly. So after that, Walter come out. Walter starts, he took all of them out, right, one by one, right? And then at the end of it, Walter was telling Victor that this is all Claudia, right? Claudia betrayed him. And so Victor was like, it wasn't just her. And you know how Walter is. Y'all know how Walter is. Walter talks shit to his kids. He's telling, Victor that, basically Claudia got more heart than you do. I was like, do she really? Because, and that's when Victor said, yeah, it wasn't just her by herself. I was in on it with her. So at one point, I remember Walter got shot in the leg, right? So Victor just popped his daddy. I was like, wait a minute, Vic. You just took your own daddy out. Wow. I guess that's justice for Gloria, right? I guess it's justice for Gloria. So, after that, you guys, we see Vic. So Vic went over to Claudia's crib, right? And Claudia was freaking out, wondering who it was. And then she saw that it was Victor, right? So Victor was like, you didn't tell me that it got moved up to 8:30. And she was like, well, I didn't know. And Doyle was like, you are a liar. I told you. So she took hers and popped him, right? And then she told Victor that he never told me. He never told me. I'm like, girl, I hope you know that Victor probably isn't buying anything that you're saying, right? I just want you to know, I don't think your brother is buying anything that's coming out of your mouth, right? So after that, we see Victor. So Victor went down to see Stacy, right? And while he's talking to Stacy, Stacy got a text message about the shootout, right? And then she opened up her tablet and saw the news article that said Walter was dead. And so Victor's like, yeah, I barely escaped with my life, right? So he told her he wants to go after Claudia. He says, DEATH is too good for her. He wants her to sit in jail because she's the brains of the operation, and he wants full immunity, right? So Stacey was like, okay, I'll give you full immunity, but I want you to infiltrate CBI and also give her Tommy Egan. And Victor was like, you got it. I was like, you little snake. You little snake. Do y'all really think that Victor will turn on CBI? Let me know what you guys think. And we'll pause here, you guys, and we're going to move forward. All right, you guys. So the episode, it opens up, and we're still dealing with the aftermath of D-Mac, taking out Seamus, right? So D-Mac is basically flipping out. And, Tommy got a text message from Diamond. So Diamond texts Tommy telling him he took care of it, right? So Tommy told D-Mac, you stay your ass in this house, right? And so we see Jannard. So Jannard is talking to his crew, and he's telling his crew that his crew is actually telling him that they need some product, right? So he told him to go talk to this nigga Yo-Yo, right? And they was like, man, Yo-Yo don't fuck with your ass. And he's like, what you mean Yo-Yo don't fuck with me? They basically trying to tell him, Yo-Yo knows that you're using your own product. Yo-Yo knows that Miguel don't fuck with you. And he said, wait a minute, Miguel don't fuck? No, y'all need to stop listening to what these streets say. You might want to listen to what the streets say. Like, they should. So he got a text message from Mirkovich saying that, payment is due. I was like, oh, Jesus the Christ. Jannard. He also telling these niggas to stay loyal to him. I'm like, stay loyal to a crackhead? I wish the hell I would. Like, I wish I would. So, we see Diamond. Diamond is at the diner, right? So, the old guy at the diner tells Diamond to go pay a visit to Sid. And, Diamond's like, I don't fuck with Sid. So, and they were like, he's on his deathbed, basically, right? And Diamond really couldn't be bothered to give a fuck, right? So while he's sitting there, it's another crew that comes in and just starts blasting the place, right? So you guys remember when I told you guys a few minutes ago that the young lady that Maria was taking care of, that's the one that got shot because Diamond saw her on the floor and told them to get help, right? So next up we see Diamond. So Tommy pulled up on him, and Tommy is flipping out because he's noticing that the police are riding up and down the streets, right? And Diamond was like, Seamus was a dirty cop, so they're not looking for him, right? And he said, even if they were, I took care of it. He said, but your nephew, that's gonna be another problem, because he asked Tommy, what did you do with your nephew? And Tommy's like, I told him to stay at the house, right? And Diamond was looking like, well, there your nephew is right there, talking to the cops. So Tommy picked him up and took him home, and he's like, what the fuck did you say to the cops? Or what the fuck did you say to Marshall, right? And so JP comes in, and JP is like, Tommy, get your hands off my son. You don't have to talk to him like that. Tommy was like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do to him, JP, because he has gotten himself into a whole lot of fucking trouble right now that I don't want to tell you about because it would implicate you, right? So, he says, the less that you know, the better. So we then later see Kate. So Kate went to go check on D-Mac to see what's going on, right? So D-Mac, told Kate about Genesis, and Kate gave him a $20 bill, told him to go get her pack of Newports and take as long as he needs. I was like, oh my God, this is just not going to end well for D-Mac, right? So we see Jannard. You guys, Jannard is down bad. I mean, we see Jannard walking through the hood, and this nigga is tweaking, right? So he got a text once again about payment being due. I was like, have y'all not saw this dude? This dude does not look well. But again, I don't believe that they 100% give a rat's ass, right? So he went up to somebody. He went up to this. I don't know if now. I believe she was a stud. She might be I don't know what she was, he or she, right? But he went up to this person, took two bricks from this person, right? And this person's chain. And so after he did that, I was like, oh, Jesus, you are really damn bad. So he took the bricks back to his crew, saying he got it from Miguel, and one of his guys noticed that chain, and they're like, man, nigga, this is my chain. I was like, yeah, a chain that you just stole from somebody. Lord, Jannard. Yeah, you guys, Jannard is not going to make it out this season with us. I can guarantee you that part, right? So, we see Diamond. So, Diamond had his girl go give the guy, so he knew the guy whose crew, came to the diner, right? He told Tommy about it. And so, they're going to try to broker a deal with that crew, right? So Diamond had his girl give old boy a phone, right? So Diamond was on the other side of the phone telling him, like, we need to work together, right? So old boy was like, cool, we can do that, but I'm gonna need half of the business right here in this prison, right? So Tommy says, what do he want? And Diamond told him he wants half. And Tommy grabbed the phone and hung it up, right? So after that, Tommy was like, you know what? I think I got some things to do. I'll think on it and I'll let you know, right? And so Diamond also told him, like, you need to figure out what to do with your nephew, because if you don't do something to him, then he will, right? So we see the old guy at the barbershop. So he's telling Diamond, like, hey, your father, Sid, he is in hospice and you need to go talk to him. And once again, Diamond's like, I don't fuck with Sid, right? So he called Shanti up. By this point, I had put two and two together. I'm like, Sid has got to be his dad, right? So he called Jannard, hung up. Then after that, he called Shanti, right? So we see as Jannard went to Shanti's gym, right? And she told him about Big Sid and that he needs to go see him, right? So we see Diamond. So Diamond did go see Big Sid. When he went to go see Big Sid was an asshole. Even on his last days, motherfucker was an asshole, telling him he don't want to be no damn father. And I was with Diamond like, but you shouldn't have been fucking their mama, or at least use the condom, at least something, right? I was like, you on your death. He even told Diamond at one point, like, you just like me, nigga. You ain't shit. You ain't gonna be shit. You never was shit. I was like, wow, sir. Very harsh. very harsh for your own son. Ugh, what a nasty piece of shit. He at one point got into a coughing fit, and Diamond was in there, and the nurses came in and told Diamond to get out. He said, "Yeah, get the fuck out." I would have said, "Dude, you ain't said nothing but a word to me, right?" So they got him good. So Diamond went back into the room, and Jannard came down and saw Diamond, and he ended up leaving. I was like, "You dumb fool! You do realize this is hospice, right? You do realize that with hospice, those are their last days on this earth, and you so pissed off with your no, you so high, cause you ain't that pissed. You are high." But he left, right? So after that, we see Tommy, right? So Tommy went home and told JP about D-Mac, taking out Seamus, right? So we also see, JP tried to blame Tommy for this situation. And I was like, sir, your son was in the lifestyle before Tommy came to Chicago. He was a corner boy, but okay, I guess if you want to blame Tommy, let's go for it. Don't know why you're doing that. So Tommy texts Big Smurf telling him he needed his help, right? So then we see Jannard once again in this episode, and this fool is still looking to score some drugs, right? So he went to this guy's house and he said, "I just gave the last level to the white boy," right? So Jannard found the white boy and asked him for it, right? So the white boy noticed a chain around his neck, and I guess for the deal for the drugs, he would give the chain up for the drugs. So Jannard sprinkled that stuff on the dashboard and went to town on it. And the white boy was like, "Wait, you wasting that shit." And he's like, "What you talking about?" Well, the white boy had a cut up Coke can, right? And had the drugs in the can, lighten it up, and then he put it in a syringe. I was like, "Oh, this is when you know you're down bad. When you're doing this kind of shit, right? Because that is just, oh my god, I would never, 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 ever." So Jannard let this white boy shoot him up. I was like, "Oh my god, you damn bad, sir." So Diamond, he's still with actually, let's backtrack real quick. So D-Mac, he went to go see old girl, right? In the middle of him getting ready to go see old girl, he got picked up by Big Smurf them, and I knew what it was at that time. I knew what they were doing, and we'll talk about it in just a little bit, right? Actually, no, let's go ahead and talk about it. So JP and Tommy told Kate that D-Mac was gone because she was looking for him, and she was like, "Gone where?" They're like, "Gone, ma, not coming back." And so Kate, she lost it, right? And yeah, when she lost it, Kate went back to her old habits. I was like, "Damn." So everybody's just gonna be a coked out mess. I was like, "Okay, I guess." Now, at one point, JP wanted to tell Kate the truth, but Tommy is like, the less she knows, the better as well, right? So we see Diamond. So Diamond was still with his dad, and so his dad, we found out, was actually in the streets. So that is why he left Diamond and Jannard. He did say at one point that he did not like Diamond because he knew Diamond was strong enough that he didn't need him, but Jannard was not. And so he told Diamond to, look after Jannard. I was like, wow, so you didn't like your son because you knew that he was strong. He was strong and he did not need to rely on you. What a father! What a father you are. So Tommy came down to the hospice and he saw Diamond. He also told Diamond that D-Mac is gone as well, right? So Tommy told him that they should do this deal with Kilo, but they should be the ones that supply him with the drugs, and Diamond was cool with it, right? So after that, we see Jannard. So Jannard finally made it down to the hospice, but he was too late because their dad had passed away, right? And I will say that I did like the fact that despite what Diamond and Jannard have been going through this season, Diamond still protected his brother in this particular moment because the shit that he said to Jannard was a bullshit ass lie. That dad ain't said none of that stuff. So he wants to bring Jannard back into the CBI. I was like, oh, is that a good idea? Your brother is clucked out, but hey, if that's what you want to do, my dude, go for it. So with Tommy, we did find out that D-Mac, he didn't take his nephew out, but he did get him out of the city, right? Looked like he was in Amish country, right? And so Tommy wants him to stay there until he feels like it is safe for him to bring him back to Chicago. And that was the end of the episode, you guys. So let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comment section below, you guys. Please subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on, you guys. Share the video. And until next time, please stay safe out there, you guys. Take care of yourselves, wash your hands, and be blessed, you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one, you guys. So we only have, what, 4 more episodes of The Power, I believe, because this is episode 5. So we got 6, 7, 8, and 9. Nope, we got 5. We got 10 episodes. We got 10 episodes, you guys. And then I don't know where we're gonna get a break, because you guys know that we usually get a 1 week, a 2 week break. So I wonder, because we're in October, so October 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, the 29th, and the 5th. Because you guys know that book 3 returns on December the 1st, you guys. Oh my God. Beyonce, girl. Power Book 3, Power Book 3, Raising Canaan comes out on December the 1st, and Beyonce's tour, you know, is going to the theaters on December the 1st. So yeah, girl, I gotta figure this out. It'll be easy, because you guys, I typically don't watch Power until the weekend, even though it comes on Fridays. It's very rare that I'll watch it on a Friday, so yeah, we'll work it out. We'll rock and roll with it, you guys. But that's it, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.